So today's PSA is about doing things alone and being okay with it. Because a lot of things we have to do in this life, you have to go about it on your own. And I know I'm talking right now with this beautiful backdrop at the Virgin Beach here in Bali, Indonesia. So I told my driver to take me somewhere where it's kind of off the beaten path, where the waters are a little calmer, if you will. I'm staying in Shangju, so Shangju is more of a surfers beach town, right? And so what you always get is a lot of aggressive water there. So I was like, take me somewhere where the water's not as aggressive, but as you can clearly see, it's not still not calm, but it is what it is, right? But he still brought me to Virgin Beach, about 2 hours outside of 2.5 hours outside of Canggu, where I'm staying. So if you stay in Simiak or a little bit, I'm sure it's a little bit closer, obviously, a little less drive. But what I'm saying to you and why I'm coming to you, talk to you real quick on this PSA announcement, if you will, for Higher Power Tech Podcast. We've been talking a lot lately in the past couple of series about integrity, doing the mundane things, and then also too making sure you're consistent and then taking the leap, right? And so to kind of just add to, not even kind of to add to when taking the leap, it's important for you to understand that you're going to have to do it alone a lot of times. A lot of times you're going to have to go about being isolated for a little while in order to get to the point that you're able to build yourself well enough to recognize how to find the right individuals along your journey, the right gurus, leaders, whatever, guides, mentors, whatever. And then also to the teammates that are going to rock with you on it and work with you on it. And a lot of times they're going to be people that you never expected, right? But in your isolation or solitude moments, in your downtime, that's when you actually get the clarity that you need and the understanding and the wisdom of what you're looking for, how you're looking to process it, how you're looking to disseminate your knowledge and information, and then also too how to work with those and then accept those and receive those who are going to help you on the journey, on the path that you're on. And also too, you become a little more clear of timelines, right? Of this may not be for life, right? And the mentors or the gurus or the teammates or the relationships that you're developing along the way. It might just be for a finite period of time, that interaction is going to be necessary for you all to get what you need and grow in life, right? And go on this journey. But this all happens during the moments when you're allowing yourself to be alone, be in solitude, to do things that scare you a little bit on your own, whether it's learning something new, whether it's learning a new language, whether it's traveling, whether it's, exploring a new part of your city, whether it's going out to a restaurant by yourself. Um, you know, Normally what I'm speaking to is things that are time intensive and putting you in a position where you're by yourself for a little while, a few weeks, a few months, a few years even. Or even if it's not, dating, if you're, single out there and you're, exploring, relationships, but you've been finding it hard in relationships you have encountered, you're wondering why it's not working. Maybe it's time for you to take a step back and just be alone and be in isolation for a little while. Because again, you get a chance to be still. You get a chance to quiet the white noise. You get a chance to now focus in on what's really important and weed out all the things that are not. A lot of times because we're so used to being we're human beings, we're used to being in community, we're used to being around others, whether right, wrong, and different. But I think when those of us, when we look at like the tortured artists, when we look at those who seem to have risen above the fear of what others think or what society may say, if you ever talk to them or listen to them, they always have a moment where they talk about where they've been alone and they were alone and they were isolated and they were able to do a deep dive. And normally it's for a period of time. One of the current gurus or, motivational enthusiast speakers, Jay Shetty. And I've seen, I don't really follow his work, but I know he's a quality young man. I know what he's done. he's talked about where he, for a while went, and did the monk thing, right? And in doing the monk thing, though, even though yes, he went to Tibet or wherever it was that he went to follow the monk's path and do all the research, there were still moments, a lot of major moments within that of solitude. There was times I know where he spoke of where they wouldn't speak for days or weeks, right? Because in that, again, being in oneself. Now you still might be around other bodies, but at the same token, you're still being to yourself, right? And in that brings a lot of clarity because it's a lot of deep dive. So you're able to take a deep dive into yourself and really cut out the white noise and be able to reconcile and sift through the things that you need to work through mentally, emotionally, spiritually when you're in solitude and isolation. Now, I need you to understand this. It's a fine line between everything. Because if you heard me say in the last part of the last video between Doc and I talked about the fact that he still needs to understand no man is an island amongst himself. And it's imperative for you to understand that you have to be able to cultivate your communication skills well enough to be able to bring others in, especially if you're building a business, entrepreneurship. If you're trying to shoot, if you're trying to have a relationship, just an intimate relationship, building, meeting someone else who's not, who's a different person, you need to be able to sell your vision of your future, your life you want to build to them, right? And not, it shouldn't be fake or phony, but you got to be able to, again, you want to amalgamate them and bring them into your world and vice versa. And you need to understand how to do so. And if you don't know yourself, if you're not familiar with yourself, the deepest, darkest secrets, the deepest, darkest parts of yourself that you know theoretically, you have an idea of, but you haven't worked through them. That's why we go to therapy. Then you can't expect for yourself when the time is right for you to, or necessary for you to be merging yourself with someone else's personal abilities and skills. You can't expect for yourself to be fully ready at that moment. This is why I'm saying you must take the fine line, take the opportunity to be in isolation for a period of time and be okay with it. Find yourself, do the deep dive, sit in the fire, work through the fears, work through the concerns, appreciate the good times, appreciate the best parts of yourself, hone in on those and sharpen those, right? All those things you can do when you're in isolation and when you allow yourself to be okay being alone. Again, this is not about, say, staying in that. It's not about saying revel in it. It's just about being able to be mature, to be in it when the time is right, grow in it, learn from it, and then build on it, and then be able to step into the realm of being with others when the time is right, growing with others, receiving others, what they have to say to you, what they have to share with you, how they have to grow you, as well as how you can grow them. Because it has to be a mutual give and take. It has to be a mutual learning as well as growing with another individual. But you can only really do that when you know yourself. All right. So I wanted to stop here with this PSA and talk to you about that. I know this beautiful backdrop, and I know it seems like, okay, well, when you get in moments like this, but because when you're in moments like this, when you're in solitude, this is why you see a lot of social media people, YouTubers, and people, bring, little clips to you like this, because again, we're in these moments of introspection. We're in these moments of cutting out the white noise so we can now be one with our thoughts and really bring clarity to how we want to communicate the important things that we believe are important for you to understand and important for you to hear, that but because the white noise around you, because of the stresses you're underneath, because of the demands that are on you, because of everything that's around you that's not allowing you to see clearly or hear clearly, this is why we bring these moments to you. So therefore, because we're in our clear moments, our clairvoyance, or we're in our moment of, altruisticness, right? Or betterment, now we're able to bring, hopefully, the clarity to thought, clarity to energy that you are seeking. And then you can now say, oh, that's what I was trying to say. That's what I was thinking, but I didn't necessarily know if I was on the right path. You are. Go with it. You are doing the right things if you're taking yourself to be independent, isolated, alone for a period of time in order to grow yourself and advance yourself. And that's the only reason why you're doing it. But don't feel scared in it. Appreciate it, receive it, respect it, and you'll be able to be okay. All right. So just want to bring that to you. We'll see you guys on the next episode.